2 days ago, I went to the Chicago Cubs Game 6 National League Championship Series game against the Los Angeles Dodgers. And actually, I had just been to a Dodgers game in LA a couple weeks ago, so it was interesting getting to see them both in LA and out here in Chicago. Of course, we were rooting for the Cubs, as Caitlin happens to be a Cubs fan, being from Chicago and all. So after the disaster that we had trying to get the Dodgers stadium, where it like funnels you into the stadium and it took us hours to get there, we left 2 hours early and got there in the third inning. We learned from that and we're like, okay, we're going to make sure that we leave with plenty of time to get to the game. And we ended up getting there with about an hour to spare, so plenty of time to just kind of enjoy the atmosphere. And man, everyone was so pumped up, all the fans, the streets were packed. It was definitely a great atmosphere, and you can really feel, I'm not sure if you guys know much about the Cubs, but Wrigley Field, which is the stadium that they play in, is actually in Wrigleyville, which I assume is named after the stadium. And so the whole area is just alive with a lot of people, drinking, packed, ready to go to the game. Or if they don't go to the game, they just stay at the bars just to kind of be part of the atmosphere. So definitely a cool experience to go to a Cubs game in the playoffs, which, doesn't happen too much if you're the Cubs. They haven't won a World Series in 108 years. Sorry, no, it's not. It's more than 108 years. Wait, no, is it 108? 1908, right? Yeah, okay. So 108 years. Yeah, 108 years, and hadn't been to the World Series since 1945. So everyone here is very excited. And if you look at ticket prices of the Cubs game versus the other, National League, the title games, the Cubs tickets were nearly $1,000 a ticket on average, and all the other three teams that made their championship series, the average ticket price was around $350. Well, at the Cubs game, $350 gets you standing room only. So extremely expensive, but very fun atmosphere. And we got in the stadium, we were pretty pumped to be there. So when we got to our seats, there was actually already a very drunk Cubs fan yelling, cheering, and just wobbling around, kind of like in my seat, essentially, just like in front of it. And when I asked him to move, he said sure, and then he just took a step into the aisle and just pretended like that's a place you could hang out. And he actually hung out there for like 15, 20 minutes, national anthem, first pitch, all this stuff. And I was starting to get worried, like, what if this guy just tries to stay in the aisle next to me for the entire game? But right before the first pitch of the game, he actually ended up leaving and finding another section. Got kicked out later, by the way. Got kicked out by security for being too drunk. I don't know. We just harassing people. Anyway, here's a picture of me from my seat. They were pretty good seats. A little bit past first base, right down the foul line in the bullpen box. So very nice seats to be able to enjoy the game. It's a little bit different when you're at that angle compared to behind home plate. I typically like behind home plate better because you can see if pitches are strikes or balls or whatever. But you're kind of more in the action along the foul line. You can catch a ball. You can sometimes have to duck from balls that are coming at you, and I feel like you're more part of the game from that seat, even though your view of the pitches isn't quite as good. One of the cool things about being so close to the action is that when they do hit the ball over towards first base, you might get a little TV time. People were constantly tweeting pictures at me. Generally speaking, what it seems like happened is there'd be a foul ball in my area, and I would have no idea the cameras were on, and I would be awkwardly staring off into space like this picture.
Hello, it's me.
Don't exactly know what's going on there. Actually, I don't even know where the cameras are. Like, I tried to see where they were from these angles, but couldn't really find them. They must be off in the distance somewhere that I couldn't see. And there's another kind of funny picture here as well, where I am awkwardly standing again, just watching, like looking at Rizzo, and Caitlin, of course, eating a pretzel with a little bit of cheese. Pretty classy photo from us here along the baseline, but it was cool to actually get to be on TV while they were playing the game, and a lot of people were contacting me about it, so that was fun. Definitely a perk, I guess, to being so close. It did seem like there were some very scarred Cubs fans, because during the fifth inning, I think they hit a home run and we're up about 5-0 or 4-0 or something in that vicinity, and everyone was celebrating and high-fiving, and I was actually just, trying to get a drink at the bar. And I'm like, yeah, this looks like good for the Cubs, right? And the guy next to me is like, no, never forget '03. You can't forget 2003. Don't ever forget. And I was like, what happened? He's like, we were up 4-1 going into the 9th or the 8th or something, and we lost, and we lost game 7, so we can't get excited right now. You can't. And I was like, all right, man. We're really battling some scars here. But anyway, Cubs did go on to win in really a blowout. Hendricks had an awesome game. He allowed a hit on the first pitch of the game and then went 7 perfect innings, I think, before allowing another hit in the 7th. So I guess 6 perfect innings, whatever, before he got pulled out. So the Cubs just blew them right out and then won the National League pennant. So we stayed around a little bit after the win to take in the whole experience and see them award the pennant to the Cubs, as well as see a few players and the coach talk. So overall, it was pretty cool. And then when we decided to leave, it was a madhouse. It was an absolute madhouse. I got some snaps of this. I guess they're gone now. But people were climbing all of the traffic lights and like rocking them back and forth. Yeah, fuck that sign. Fuck it. A little scared for a couple people at some points when it got rocking pretty fast, and I was like, that just seems like a really smart idea. But anyway, I was trying to walk out of the area, and I got to an intersection, and I just hear behind me, Doug! And I turn around, and it's Phil Hellmuth, also at the game. We just ran into each other, not coordinated at all, did not message him. We just ran into each other after the game and got a quick picture and called it good. But yeah, it's always funny when you run into other people from poker at events like this or wherever, because it's just so many people, right? I think there was 42,000 people in attendance. And even if we both go to the game, the chance of actually running into them afterwards in the masses is just so low. And also, it's not just 42,000 people. There's all the people that are celebrating in the street. Like, there's a lot of people that I assume couldn't afford tickets, and it was just packed around Wrigley Field afterwards. I'm sure a lot of people go hitting the bars after to drink. So I would say overall it was a very cool experience to be there. It was cool running into Phil Hellmuth. It was fun getting to be on TV, and it was just a great experience. I'm really rooting for the Cubs now in the World Series. Hopefully they can break the curse, and Katie will be happy. So now that we talked about the Cubs game, let's talk about what I got coming up. Actually, in about 40 minutes here, heading to dinner to meet up with Joe and Grimwand. Hey, Poppy! Great podcaster here on YouTube. Going to get some dinner and chat, hang out, etc. And then tomorrow morning, headed to the Dominican Republic, Punta Cana, for the Punta Cana Poker Classic. Going to be playing down there, and then also going to be commentating the final table. So hopefully that'll be good. Actually, you know what? I think I'm not going to be commentating it because I'm just going to win the event, and then I don't have to commentate, right? But if I don't make the final table, I will be commentating it. So you can get some more action there. Should be fun, and I'm looking forward to it. You know, I've never been down to the Dominican Republic before. Been to Mexico a few times. We went to some places in the Caribbean as well, right, Kate? Where did we go to? St. Thomas, St. Martin, Bahamas. We've been to some places, but we've never actually been to the Dominican Republic, so it's always cool to get to check out a new place. And Katie loves the beach. It's a thing. She's also not planning on playing too many tournaments, I don't think. I don't think so. Anyway, so we're down there for about 5 or 6 days, and then I'm going to be heading essentially right back to Vegas, going through Chicago. So in November, we're back on for the Bankroll Challenge. I know a lot of people have been asking me about this. Doug, when are you going to play the challenge? What's going on with the challenge, man? Oh, RIP Challenge, RIP Challenge. Don't worry, guys. It'll be back in motion November 4th. It's a thing. We'll be back on Twitch. Okay? It'll be some small stakes, but we have a challenge to win. I'm not forgetting about not letting it go. So looking forward to that, sort of. No, it'll be fun to be streaming. You know, playing that low of stakes when you're a high stakes player is a little bit funny, but we're definitely going to continue to give it our best foot forward, and we're eventually going to complete it. Now, I can't give you time frames. I can't say like by this day because I'm going to be toning back my overall amount of streaming, but this is not something I'm going to give up on. I think it's important to finish things that you set out to do. So looking forward to that in November, and then it's going to be more of a consistent grind, you know, more videos in my studio, more just living day-to-day in Las Vegas, and I won't really have any traveling lined up for a couple months, so it'll be good to get down to a more normal schedule. The last couple of months for me, you know, I did the Bankroll Challenge in August, Vancouver, September, traveled around California for the first couple weeks of this month, and then was only in Vegas, back in Vegas for a week before coming here to Chicago, and then Punta Cana, and then back to Vegas. So Definitely been a very busy stretch. Happy to have some time just at home working on my videos, working on streaming, working on Upswing, and getting a lot of content out. So that's going to do it here for me. Thank you for listening to this vlog, and I'll occasionally put these guys in there. I'm not sure how popular they will or won't be, but I figure I'll let you know what I'm up to while I'm on the road, just so that it's better than putting out no content, right? So I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you guys soon. Thank you guys for watching the vlog today. Remember to subscribe to the channel so you can get updates on poker hands, poker thoughts, vlogs, stream highlights, and more. Click that sub button. I think Kasuf, despite all of the banter, has a pretty clear check back here on the turn. If he bets the turn, he's really not able to bet for value in the river. And also, if he does bet the turn, he's going to make a hand like a 2 or a 4 fold. And what is he really beating with Queen 10? He might be beating a hand like Queen 8 suited, but there's a lot less of those hands than hands like